It is Friday, March 25th, 2022. That is my man, T. Floof. I am Chris Rose. This is Baseball Today. Happy cup of Joe. Black coffee, right? To you?
You know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you believe it's the 25th already? What's going on?
I know. In 2 weeks, everybody will be playing baseball when it counts. I love it.
I'm
I love
hungry.
it.
I'm hungry for some ball. I'm sick of practice. I'm sick of lockouts, free agency. Give me some ball.
Yeah, we're right there. We're right
I'm
there.
ready.
You didn't even ask me where I am.
I looked at you like, where are you? But then, I forgot. So where are you?
Well, that's my dog back there.
It is.
Yes, that's Sydney saying hello to everybody. We are on the road because we're having a commercial shot at our house today. The Property Brothers.
Love that. Aren't we doing something special Monday because of that? Or is that not happening anymore?
Yes, that is. There's another commercial happening. So it's weird. It comes in waves when you do this in Los Angeles. It's very weird.
No one's ever tried to rent my house out. You have this beautiful mansion. Mine's just kind of this old rickety thing. So
no, it's just they don't want to deal with getting past 18 security guards. And
let's get to the baseball. Come on, man.
Okay, let's get to it. Dodgers obviously made a lot of moves this offseason. Guys they lost, guys they signed. And Dave Roberts has the utmost confidence in his team. He went on Dan Patrick's radio show, and this happened.
The Dodgers will win the World Series if
we play a full season and there is a postseason.
Wait.
We are winning the World Series in 2022. But I know where you're going with that.
No,
we're winning the World Series this year. Put it on record.
You are winning the World Series.
We are winning the World Series. That's our focus. That's our goal.
Too much, or do you like it?
I love it. I mean, what else is the guy supposed to say? He's supposed to say if everything lines up correctly. No, man, this guy, first of all, been there, done that for the Dodgers in the postseason, division. They don't care anything about that anymore. It's strictly for them, World Series or bust. And I know every organization wants to say, oh, that's how we play. No, it's not. You want to win your division. You want to get to the playoffs. For the Dodgers, they don't care. It is only World Series or bust for them. And why not? Look at the roster they have. Look at the lineup. Look at the pitching they have. So, they should be confident. And that's one of the reasons that Dave Roberts is their manager and why he works so well in Los Angeles amongst all these superstars in the game. He's able to handle them because he's confident in himself, in his abilities, and obviously he's confident in their abilities. So I have no problem with this. And guess what? I mean, they are the favorite to win the World Series, an overwhelming favorite in any Vegas book you go to. So I have no problem with it. In fact, I like it.
I love it because 29 other managers would never say it because they're afraid to say it. And not that they're not confident, right? You don't think Brian Snitker walks into that clubhouse and is like, of course we're going to win the World Series. But that's not Snit's personality. I would love it if more guys came out and said it, right? At least there's one. Now, the Dodgers are going to make it to October, and they might win the World Series, and they might not. We've talked about countless times on the show how it's such a crapshoot in this sport. But if they bow out early, the other team is going to say, well, Dave Roberts, you didn't win the World Series. But who gives a shit? Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Obviously, he doesn't care what other people think about him. He cares about the people in the clubhouse, the Dodgers fans, and they all want to hear that come out of him. That sentiment is exactly what you want to hear out of your manager. And you're right. 29 other managers aren't going to say that. They're afraid of, like knock on wood, some superstition, something like that. But when you got a team like that, you might as well say it.
And by the way, it's not going to make the other teams try harder. Like, Are the Padres going to try harder because Dave Roberts just said that? Like, no, really, let's go get him now. You see what he said? Like, come on, please.
I will say that there's probably a few ball players who are thinking about the baseball gods and what happens with that.
Enough with the baseball
I'm not one of those guys, but I guarantee there's a few probably even on his own team that are like, Dave, come on, man. The baseball gods are listening.
The people who believe in that are also the people that believe that announcers can jinx a no-hitter. Shit just doesn't happen. All right. Francisco Lindor, his first home run of the spring on Thursday, looking to rebound after a tumultuous first season up there in Queens. Which other player needs a big-time bounce-back season?
You could name a lot. There's a ton of guys that need to bounce back. We've talked about Yelly. We've talked about Belly. Yelly Belly, baby. I like that.
I like that.
For me, I'm going starting pitcher, into a team who I think is going to be in the hunt for October. They're going to play in a difficult division, the NL East. This is the Phillies. I'm talking about Aaron Nola, an ace pitcher who had a tough year last year. And a lot of it was from, like a high BABIP, and that's because of his defense that was played behind him. He can strike guys out, but he also,
which didn't get any better in the offseason.
It didn't get any better in the offseason, but what I'm hoping for is, maybe some adjustments in positioning that can help him out. And a lot of times when you're talking about a high BABIP, that's just straight up luck. Where does the ball go? Obviously, when you have a good defense, they can turn those into outs. That's going to help you. He does not have a good defense behind him. That's bottom line. Mm-hmm. Positioning can help. And then you can just go on the other side. You were unlucky one year. Like, there's a chance that he's just regular old lucky this year, and his numbers will come back to where they're supposed to be. He was at like what last year? A 4.6. That's not him. He'll be in the 3s this year, and hopefully in the low 3s, because they're going to need him in Philadelphia. Him, Wheeler, Suarez, then hopefully somebody else like a Montas will come in. But I'm looking for Aaron to bounce back. He's too good of a pitcher. He's got the stuff. And what I really like about last year, I know that the numbers weren't there, but he still was striking people out and walking like nobody. And that's a really good recipe for a pitcher.
I'm also going with a pitcher, although I easily could have gone with a hitter, and namely one of the two guys that you talked about. Kyle Hendricks did not have a good year. Now, here's what I love about Hendricks. He takes the ball every 5 days. He's never hurt. He's always out there. Last year, you talked about Nola's ERA. This guy had a 4.77. Now, when I talk to big leaguers, either past or present, you always talk about so-and-so's not a comfortable at bat. Nobody's racing to the bat rack to face him. It's the opposite with Kyle Hendricks, right? Guy barely breaks 90. He's going to be around the strike zone. And last year, that was a real problem for him. He had a WAR that was under 1. For a guy that's pitching as much as him, that's just not good enough. Tied his career high in walks, gave up 200 hits, which was a lot more than his previous high. So he's going to have to make some adjustments. He's an Ivy Leaguer. He's a smart dude. I like watching him pitch because he's so different than anything else out there.
He is. It's interesting to face a guy like him. I liked the slower velo guys. I enjoyed facing Hendricks, although, when he makes his pitches, he presents them as strikes, gets you to chase balls out of the zone. It can really frustrate a hitter that way. But I agree with you. I in an age of where we're just looking for velo and strikeouts, there's a guy like Hendricks out there that's pitching. That's kind of an ode to the old school type of baseball.
Right.
And that does make it fun to watch. And he does need to have a bounce back year because the Cubs are in this precarious position where we kind of don't know which direction they're going. They added so many players. Like, clearly they want to win this year. And in that division, there's the Cardinals and the Brewers. They're gonna have to get ahead of them, and if they want to do that, I mean, they have to have more than Stroman going. They need Hendricks to be a guy. Him and Wade Miley.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Cubs have had some serious highs in terms of starting pitchers individually that have done great things, right? Jake Arrieta, Yu Darvish got on a remarkable run. John Lester was really good for most of his 6 years there on the north side. But the one guy that has been super consistent is Kyle Hendricks. I mean, a guy won an ERA crown. He was the guy that got the ball in Game 7 of the World Series when they won it all. He's been really good. I'd like to see him get back to that. Andrew Miller, yes.
I want to make one more point on Nola. Even though his ERA was, a 1.2 higher than what it's usually, his whip was lower. Second lowest whip of his career last year. So he's doing it. I expect a real big bounce back season.
Really trying to convince yourself of that.
Just an added point right there. I'm on his baseball reference page. I just saw that.
Andrew Miller has called it quits after 16 seasons in the show. Adam Wainwright, his teammate the last few years in St. Louis, said Miller, quote, changed the game by having dominant relievers work multiple playoff innings, just like they did back in the old days. So do you agree that Miller did indeed change the game?
He did. And I think it was a combination of him and Tito, your buddy. Terry realized that there are times during the game that we now call them high leverage situations. That wasn't a term in 2015, 2016. He realized there were times in a game that probably meant more than the last 3 outs of the game. Like, this situation calls for your best pitcher to put the fire out so you can go and continue on with the game. And that's what he had in Andrew Miller, a guy that had been a closer, had racked up saves before. It's hard to be able to convince somebody of that stature to say, hey, man, you're not going to get those saves. And we all know that at that time specifically, they were paying for saves.
Mhm.
So this is this guy's future. But Miller, such a team first guy, he realized this too, along with Tito, and said, you know what? This is best for the team. I'm going to do it. And because of that, we saw a bunch of other types of relievers getting paid. It wasn't just closers anymore. The middle reliever guys who usually were just like, dude, even though you were pitching very meaningful innings, you weren't getting paid like you were.
Right.
So Miller comes in. I think at the time Cody Allen was the closer for the
Correct.
Indians. So like let him be, because he was really good too. And Miller said, hey, I'll pitch whenever you need me to. And man, you saw what he did that postseason. Him and Tito together changed the way we look at relievers. And I got to be honest with you, I kind of hate it because that it's tough as a hitter,
Right.
like instead of facing, the first kind of mop up bullpen guy in the 6th inning, all of a sudden Andrew Miller's coming out the gate to close down the situation. Like, this isn't how it's usually done. But now you look around the league and let's build our bullpen up, because there are going to be these little like fires throughout the game that we need to put out. And yes, he was the one that ignited that whole thing.
Well, you do have to give credit to the Yankees first, who paid him, right? I think they gave him $36 or $40 million over a 4-year deal, knowing that he wasn't coming in to be the closer. Like, that was Aroldis Chapman's role. So, he came to Cleveland in that huge 4-for-1 deal. And I remember back then as a Cleveland fan, I was like, oh my God, we gave up Clint Frazier and Justice Sheffield, like a pair of first-round picks who so important to the lifeblood of a Cleveland organization.
That's
Andrew
why you
Miller,
don't prospect hug right there.
right? So, and we were like, well, we've already got Brian Shaw and Cody Allen at the back of it. Does it make this much of a difference? And it did. I mean, Tito was putting him in the 4th inning, in the 5th inning, in the 6th inning of those playoff games, and he was just amazing. In fact, he and Rob Dibble are the only relievers that were not primary closers for their respective teams that ended up winning postseason awards. He won the ALCS MVP in 2016, and he certainly earned it. So I would agree with that.
Yeah, and he's a legend, and he just got off negotiating. I need to mention this. Just spent an entire offseason negotiating a new CBA to help the younger players out.
Yep.
Like, a lot of time went into this. He was one of the guys that was always there, that was bargaining on behalf of the players. And then, you know what? He's retiring now. So this CBA had nothing to do with him, but he felt like it was his duty to go and protect the future of the guys coming up. Legend, man. Every single person in baseball has respect for this guy. So congratulations on a great career, Andrew. And I hope you find a lot of joy in retirement. Let's go play some golf.
Do you remember his original team? Don't
Detroit.
look.
Detroit.
Well, if you keep looking down the page, don't do it.
I'm looking at his page. Oh, he was Devil Ray.
But he was also part of the Miguel Cabrera trade. He was a big part of it. He and Cameron Maben were the two biggest parts of the trade that went from Detroit down to the Marlins.
Man, I'm just looking at it. It's a great baseball reference page. You want to go check it out.
Pretty good. All right. Up next, what team have we not spent enough time talking about this spring that will catch our attention during the season?
I think I got a good one. I think it's the San Diego Padres. Ever since Fernando Tatis Jr. went out, we just said, yeah, like the Padres are going to have to figure something out. They're not going to be part of the race anymore. But I don't believe that to be true. They added Voit and to an already really good roster. Now, they were disappointing a year ago. I don't think the same thing's going to happen this year. I think they're going to come out. They're going to surprise a lot of people. No one's, like I said, this is why we're talking about them during this question. There's not a lot of buzz around them right now. And I think it all happened when Tatis, had the injury. So I think they're a really fun team to watch. They captivated all of baseball for a while at some point. I don't know if that was last year or the year before. These years are getting mixed up with COVID. They really did for me. My mind is wild with time right now. But I believe that we'll be talking, I don't know, May, maybe early June. Like, dang, those Padres are really good. We forgot about how good they are. Look out, Giants. Hey, Dodgers, you got some competition here.
I'm going to go with the team that actually won that division a year ago and had the most wins in baseball, the 107-win San Francisco Giants. All we do is talk about the Dodgers and their lineup and how they're going to make a boat race to the World Series. And they didn't even win the division last year. I get it. The Giants, they lost some critical pieces, right? They lost Kevin Gossman. They lost Buster Posey. I understand it. They didn't make that huge signing in the batter's box to replace Chris Bryant either. There's still a lot of veterans that have a lot of FU in them. You know, guys that have won championships, guys that have appeared in big games. I just think I don't think they're going anywhere. Now, do I think they'll beat the Dodgers and win the division? No, but I think they're going to make it really interesting.
I remember you talking about the Giants last year.
Oh God,
boy.
you did it on that.
You couldn't stop yourself.
Yeah. Well, I remember I had Mike Yastrzemski on the Rose rotation. It was probably late August, and I admitted to him. I said, "Listen, I'm one of those morons that all year long I was like, God, this is a cute little run. You guys are off to a great start. When are they going to start trading their veterans?" And here they were, still in first place. I said, "What do you have to say to guys like me?" He's like, "Yeah, you're not very smart." I was like, "Yep, you got it.
Like,
nailed it."
We don't care what you guys say about us at all.
Right.
Gabe Kapler's at the helm for us. You know what? They've developed into just some sort of like a factory for development. And guys can go there and improve, even though they've been in a league for 5, 6, 7 years. So I'm also looking forward to them. I think the NOS is going to be a very intriguing division. I know the Dodgers are the Dodgers, but the Dodgers were the Dodgers last year, just like you said, and the Giants came out of nowhere and won how many games?
107.
What the heck?
I know, dude.
Baseball's crazy like that. So look, sure, the Dodgers may run away with this thing, but I don't think so. I think you and I both picking teams from the NOS says something. We know the rosters. We understand the managers and everything that goes along with it. I think you're a big fan of Bowmel. I'm a big fan of Kapler. So we'll see how it goes, man. I think the Dodgers are going to have some competition again in the NL West.
All right, last one. Greg Allen of the Pirates mic'd up during a game out in the field where he could talk to the broadcast crew. Here's a little taste.
The temperature is phenomenal. Cloud cover is helping with the sun, which is nice because it's right on me.
Oh, here we go.
I got it!
Okay, he got it.
Hey, I got one. Look at that.
One of the good dudes in baseball. I always like Greg Allen. Big smile on his face whenever he plays. If you could hook up a microphone and an IFB, that's the little piece that people stick in their ear so they can hear the broadcasters, and talk to them for an entire game, who would you have that be?
This one was really easy for me. It came right away. It's Andrew McCutchen.
Great one.
There's no doubt about it. I'll tell you why. First of all, the guy's hilarious. Like, he can crack jokes. He's very intelligent. He has an alter ego already, and I think it's Uncle Larry's
Yes, it is.
his alter ego. So he can switch up gears like that, but he also can talk the game with the best of them. I've had him on sequence before talking hitting, and you can dive and dive into this guy's brain. There's so much baseball knowledge there. I feel like he's a natural fit for something like that. When he gets done playing baseball, if he wants to do media, I feel like that's easily in the cards for him. And I'm talking like big media. Like, this is a guy that everyone's going to be looking towards. So I think him, and then I want to give a bonus old school one. Another center fielder who I love, who's funny and knowledgeable, and he actually does to me, Torrey Hunter. I wish Torrey Hunter would.
But he's not playing anymore.
I know. I'm saying back in the day.
Oh yeah, he would have been great. He would have been great.
Yeah. What about you?
So I've got two. I narrowed it down to, and it's more. I love Kutch's call, but he's kind of by himself in the outfield and stuff.
Okay.
I got to get more in the action. So Joey Votto. Everybody I asked, I was like, who's the most interesting guy when you get to first base? He's like, everybody says Joey Votto. Like, guy comes from a different world. We had him on Rose rotation last year. Everybody knows about his personality. I want to get that. The other one is a guy that just got brought back to his old squad, Stephen Vogt of the Oakland A's. I would love to hear a catcher during the game and be able to talk to him.
You know, I wanted a catcher too, but I couldn't think of anyone because all these catchers are usually so boring and like focused on the game. Not Stephen Vogt. You're totally right.
Well,
I totally missed him.
He would punch me in the nose if I said he wasn't focused on the game. He's very businesslike, but he's got an amazing personality. And if the A's are like 50 games out and he's trying to help us out, all his baseball fans understand what happens during a game, we might set that up here at John Boy Media and see if we can make it come to fruition.
There's no doubt he's paying attention to the game, but there's, that like saying, like, get a man that can do both.
Yes.
Like, Stephen Vogt can do both. He can focus on the game and throw some one-liners out there like that. I love that call. The catchers would be great because some of the best banter at a baseball game is hitter, catcher, umpire.
Yeah.
When the hitter's like, Steve, that pitch was not on the plate. Don't let, or like, I said Steve, like vote, but umpire. Don't let him pull that pitch back on there. Steve, why are you trying to frame me, bro? Then he comes back to you. It's great banter, and you're totally right on that call.
That's good. All right, what do you have coming up on John Boy?
Talking baseball coming out, or recording it live right after this, so that'll be fun. We did our TPP of the NL Central, so we went over the Pirates and that whole division through the rosters. I was kind of surprised at how much I liked the Cubs. That was a tidbit from there, but that'll come out, I don't know, sometime next week.
Okay.
A lot of talking baseball stuff coming out. What about you? What you got?
Mayor Garrett still out there for consumption from the Rose rotation. A lot of press on the Javi Baez clip that came out yesterday afternoon. Go watch that. And there's another real interesting one that's important for everybody that's on social media that is a fan of any professional athlete out there. You're going to hear that coming out later today, but enjoy the entire interview. We go a lot of different places. And then I'm shooting one later today with Miguel Rojas. Good to catch up with my boy Miggy.
Love Miggy. Very cool.
We are off this weekend. We are back at it on Monday, where I'm sure I'll be at some other special place if we continue to shoot commercials at the Rose Abode. There's my dog. She's sleeping. Sydney, say hi to Plouffe. Sid.
Bring the dog.
You sleeping? Let a sleeping dog lie.
Looks like a nice hotel, bro. 4 stars, I bet.
Well, Michelle and Brady stayed here because it's not far from where Brady goes to school. And I had to open up the house for the commercial people this morning. So I'm the one that got up at 5:15. But no worries. Okay. It's okay. This is what we do.
Job, okay?
Hell yeah. Now it's my job to move my fat ass into the gym. So I'm going to do that. Special shout out to our producer extraordinaire, the one and only Robbie Scirocco. For Trevor Plouffe, I'm Chris Rose. We'll see you Monday on Baseball Today.